So I'm going through and I'm reading the book by Jesse Hernandez, Becoming the Promise You Are Intended to Be. And I'm on one of the later stories, and I wanted to read an excerpt from this book. And I have the timeline here that I'll talk about here in a minute. But this is super important. So this last chapter is called Why I Can't See What They See. And it's about people that can see through our BS. And even though we might have a facade, they see the good in us. And this is how Jesse ends the section of this chapter after he talked about a couple different experiences from his elementary and high school years of people really being able to see through his goofy facade, right? And showing him that without being goofy, without the fakeness, that he is amazing, and seeing his potential. And he ends the chapter this way. So be selective about who you have in your space and who you spend time with, because they're going to reflect back to you that side of you they appreciate most. There is truth in what they see. When I surround myself with wicked people, they appreciate the levels of wickedness within me. In the past, I have lost myself in this vision of me. Today, I surround myself with people who appreciate the goodness, who likely have X-ray vision too. You can see the enormous, gigantic human being that is in front of you, hiding behind fear, hiding behind perfection, and avoiding rejection. Because you can see this, it is your responsibility to let them know what you see. Point it out, show them, help them understand you see them, because we all need to be seen. Wow. Such an amazing book. And then it goes into the last section here about closing thoughts. There's links to a bunch of really good resources that aren't necessarily all with Jesse. Like, these are just good resources. And then after this book, I noticed that there's been people that I think have my best interest, and I've just followed them blindly. And I haven't really worked on my emotional intelligence and being willing to be open for fear of rejection or fear of those things. And I see that it propagated more with narcissists and other people that I've aligned myself with. And this timeline I've been a part of, I started listening to the learnings and missteps that early, it was probably maybe October of 2020, but it was like episode 2 is when I first saw it and I started listening. And was part of the end of the 5S relationship podcasts. I was on one of them. I was one of the first subscribers to No BS with Jen and Jess. I was the first person to read the Lean in Love book. It's just like every single one of these has been so impactful to me. And the one thing that I'm excited about now is to try to figure out how to join the Emotional Bungee Jumpers. This is something that I am extremely looking forward to. Not only are these people important to me from an industry standpoint, but they mean a lot to me. A lot of them helped me through one of the hardest times of my life and got me to the other side in spite of all the people that said that they cared about me. These folks actually care. And no matter if we're in the same space doing the same thing, they have shown themselves to be real people. I want to do a shout out to Jennifer Lacey. my son was in the hospital this past year quite a bit. He ended up going into he had to go on a ventilator, not because of COVID, but because of something called botulism. And I'd heard of botulism before, but a dust storm came, and we now know that he has a different blood disorder thing that made it so that his immune system was weak in order to actually get the botulism. But he ended up in the hospital unconscious for a week, and that was extremely scary. We didn't know if he was brain dead or what was going on. And Jennifer Lacey texted me 3 times a day for 2 months. You know, and I've met her one time in my life, twice in person. By that time, I had met her once in my life. I met her at one LCI, and we had conversed online a bunch, but it meant the world to me that someone that is, for all intents and purposes, a stranger, cared that much about me. Jesse. Jesse is an amazing human. Hearing these stories from his past and understanding the man that he has decided to becoming that promise, right? Instead of going the easy route that the world propagates so often, that wicked part that is so easy to embrace, has constantly been a champion for me and for all the thoughts and ways that I communicate. And I wanted to come on today without all of the pomp and frill that you can do on YouTube, and really give a heartfelt thanks for him being one of those people in my life that has X-ray vision. Jesse, thank you for being that person. Thank you for sharing those insights, and thank you for writing this first book. I didn't think I would read a book as impactful as the Lean and Love book so closely, and becoming the promise you are intended to be is hit so close to home, because a lot of us that are in the construction industry have those same experiences and have similar experiences. And Jesse, your willingness to share the insights that you've been able to gain through your life, and how certain people have helped you, and where you're headed with your path and journey in life towards the positivity, towards the light, is inspiring and should be the direction that all of us are going. It's easy to talk about tools. It's easy to beat your chest and say, I'm a leader. It's easy to say the things. It's easy to say respect for people. It's easy to think those things. And yet, even the biggest among us are racked with fear and with an unwillingness to be vulnerable and be okay with not knowing everything. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing, both Jennifer Lacey and Jesse Hernandez. If you haven't already picked up a copy of this book, I highly recommend this book to everyone in the construction industry. This will keep at the forefront who we are as people, and the promise that we are all intended to be. Thank you for your time. I appreciate everyone who's watching and following this channel. We have a ton of new stuff in the works that we're going to be putting on here to add additional continuing value to this channel. And I'm excited to go along this journey and help the industry to reach newer and better heights from where we are currently at. Thank you so much, and we will all talk soon.